Trevor Knight and Oklahoma shocked the college football world during the 2014 Sugar Bowl when the redshirt freshman at the time played a nearly flawless game. After that game, many expected Knight to compete for the Heisman Trophy in the next season and to lead Oklahoma to the first ever college football playoff. Yet, he failed to sustain his success, becoming a one-game wonder in the eyes of college football fans. Some may argue one of the biggest one-game wonders in college football history. You won't want to miss this one. But before we get into this, make sure to let me know in the comment section below who you believe is the biggest one-game wonder in the past 25 years of college football. Trevor Knight was born on October 3rd, 1993 and grew up in San Antonio, Texas. He attended Ronald Reagan High School where he would go on to become a superstar. He dismantled defenses his senior year, throwing for 2,092 yards and 27 touchdowns, while also rushing for 943 yards and 15 touchdowns on the ground. He was a star in the making and one of the most electrifying quarterbacks in the state of Texas for the 2012 recruiting class. Trevor's father, George, was a Texas graduate, and the boys, Trevor and his twin brother, Connor, were raised as Longhorn fans. But that would not stop the boys from considering some of the Longhorns' rivals. In 2010, Knight had gone to a summer camp held by TCU, and Trevor quickly began to impress the college staff. After the end of the camp, Justin Fuente asked Knight and another quarterback, Johnny Manziel, to stay after the camp ended. Several months later, Oklahoma held one of its annual junior days, and the Knight family attended. Trevor and Connor both fell in love with Norman and OU, and it was where they wanted to go. The issue was, they left without a scholarship offer. Fast forward to March of 2011, Trevor was coming home from a baseball tournament and was ready to make his commitment to TCU. But shortly after Trevor's parents left the baseball tournament in their car, George received a phone call from Reagan football coach Dave Wetzel, who had just spoken to Justin Fuente, TCU's then quarterback coach. The Horned Frogs had just received a commitment from quarterback Austin Owen, so the scholarship was no longer available for Trevor. George called his son on his cell phone and advised him to commit right then to the second choice, Texas A&M. Knight committed to the Aggies that night and stayed as a Texas A&M commit for 3 months, when he finally received that long-awaited offer from Josh Heupel and Oklahoma. Trevor and his brother both decided to commit to Oklahoma. Trevor, a 4-star blue-chip quarterback, while his brother was a fullback and long snapper. Trevor redshirted his freshman year before winning the starting quarterback job going to the 2013 football season. Knight had received praise from both coaches and players throughout his redshirt year, showing the ability to make jaw-dropping plays. He beat out Blake Bell for the starting job, with Bell converting to the tight end position the following year. Knight was tapped as a player who had the it factor and could lead the Sooners to a fantastic season. He started his Oklahoma career strong, throwing for 3 touchdowns and rushing for 113 yards against Louisiana Monroe. Throughout the season, Oklahoma used a quarterback by committee between Bell and Knight, with the two of them leading the Sooners to their Sugar Bowl, where they would take on the almighty Alabama Crimson Tide. Alabama came into this game ranked number 3 and were expected to be competing for a national title before they had their hopes dashed by a certain kick 6. They were led by quarterback A.J. McCarron, who had led the Tide to 2 national titles and had a 3rd ring not as a starter. He finished his Tide career with the most wins by an Alabama quarterback and entered the game with only 3 losses in his career. Knight, on the other hand, had entered the game as healthy as he had been all season after the month off from play. Many expected Oklahoma to get embarrassed in the game. Amari Cooper was a key figure to Bama's opening drive before TJ Yeldon scored on a rushing touchdown. Knight got the start and was picked off by Landon Collins on a tip pass. The Sooners defense would then pick McCarron off, and Knight would connect with Bester for the Sooners' first score. Later, Knight would connect with Jalen Saunders for a touchdown to take a 14-10 lead into the second quarter. Towards the end of the first half, Knight would connect with Saunders again for another touchdown, this time 43 yards, to take a 24-17 lead. Oklahoma would take a 31-17 lead into half. In the third quarter, Derrick Henry would bring Bama back within 1 score. Knight would connect with Sterling Shepard in the fourth quarter to take a 38-24 lead, with Henry and Bama bringing it within 1 score again in the fourth quarter. Trevor Knight kept his cool and ran out a lot of the clock, but Bama would get the ball back with 1 minute left. The Sooner defense came up big with a scoop and score to finish the game with 7 sacks and a massive upset win for the Sooners, led by redshirt freshman Trevor Knight, who finished the game completing 32 of his 44 passes for 348 yards, 4 touchdowns and only 1 interception, dethroning a Bama team that seemed unbeatable at the time. Going into the 2014 season, expectations were high for Trevor Knight, with many believing he could contend for the Heisman Trophy. Knight entered the year with the 9th best Heisman odds at 18-1 behind the likes of Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota, Braxton Miller, Bryce Petty, Brett Hundley, Todd Gurley, Melvin Gordon, and Nick Marshall from Auburn. That's how good of a season many expected from the redshirt sophomore. His sophomore season was mediocre at best, and he threw for 2,300 yards, 14 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions, while also rushing for 339 yards and 5 touchdowns on the ground. The Sooners came into the season as the 4th best team in the nation before getting upset by TCU due to Knight's poor play. They would beat Texas in Red River, but would lose to Kansas State by 1 the following week. They would later lose to Baylor and Oklahoma State to finish the year 8-4, going to a bowl game against Clemson, a game they would get blown out in 40-6. Knight would miss the Oklahoma State, Kansas, and Texas Tech games due to injuries. With the arrival of Lincoln Riley as the new offensive coordinator and transfer quarterback Baker Mayfield would join the Sooners in 2014 as the scout team quarterback without ever talking to head coach Bob Stoops, Knight was going to need to fight for the starting quarterback job. A fight he would lose. Mayfield was the best fit for Riley's air raid offense, and Knight would not see much playing time throughout the season, finishing the year with 305 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. After the 2015 season, Trevor Knight would decide to transfer as a grad transfer. He spoke on his time at Oklahoma saying, "Those 4 years at Oklahoma, I wouldn't trade them for anything in the world. It was incredible. I started as a young guy, played in front of 85,000 fans, ran out of the tunnel to play Texas in the Red River rivalry while people screamed their lungs out. I remember everything about my first touchdown pass. 12 yards to Jalen Saunders on a corner route to the left side against Louisiana Monroe in my debut as a starter in 2013. In our 45-31 win over Alabama in the Sugar Bowl. It turned out Baker was the best option for us, and obviously it was a good decision. Look at our record. Was being the backup a confidence killer in a way? Yes, especially after you've been the guy. It's hard to swallow, but I had no bitterness. I can honestly say that the last season was a joy." With 1 year of eligibility left, Knight decided to transfer back to his home state and the school he originally committed to out of high school, Texas A&M. At the time, the quarterback position was in flux for the Aggies as they watched Kyler Murray transfer to Oklahoma, ironically, Kyle Allen transferred to Houston, and Knight quickly earned the respect of his teammates who felt they had known him for forever. The Aggies did not need Knight to be a world beater for them, they just needed a steady hand at quarterback, and a steady hand he was. He threw for 2,432 yards and 19 touchdowns with 7 interceptions. Knight was also 3rd on the team in rushing, carrying the ball 102 times for 614 yards and 10 touchdowns. Knight would get hurt during the Mississippi State game, and would miss a few weeks but returned for the regular season finale against LSU. He led the Aggies to an 8-5 record and to the Texas Bowl. Along with Knight's injuries, the Aggies also saw numerous injuries on the defense as well. Knight's college career was now over, but he left his spirit of leadership and teamwork on the quarterback room in College Station. His contributions off the field also looked to have a lasting effect. Though he didn't set the world on fire, he was exactly what the Aggies needed at the time. At the NFL Combine, Knight finished first among all quarterbacks in the vertical jump, broad jump, and had a 40-yard dash time of 4.54, which was faster than Alvin Kamara. Teams wondered whether Knight would consider changing positions to wide receiver or safety in the NFL due to his passing drills at the Combine being described as mediocre and mildly inconsistent. Knight was against the idea of switching positions and would go on to impress at his pro day, being projected to be a 7th-round pick or priority undrafted free agent. He went undrafted and signed with the Arizona Cardinals in 2017, but would be waived during the final roster cuts. He was then signed by the Falcons practice squad before later undergoing back surgery. He would play in the AAF, serving as the Arizona Hotshots backup quarterback behind John Wolford before the league ceased operations after 8 weeks. Trevor Knight's career can be summed up in a lesson of perseverance and adaptability. In 2014, he was viewed as a giant beater, but could never reach those same levels again. He retired from football in 2019 and became a motivational speaker and entrepreneur. He also co-hosts a podcast called The Trevor and Lex Show with his friend Lex Brown. The lessons from Trevor Knight's career is that he never gave up on his dream and always found a way to overcome challenges and make the best of his opportunities. He also used his platform to give back to others and inspire them with his faith and positivity. What do you think? Who is the biggest one-game wonder in modern college football? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out one of my other videos right here. Don't forget to leave a like and to subscribe for more college football content, and as always, remember to embrace the grind.